Happening, Lewis, Howard, Land, peeps. Hope you're doing well today. Just want to take a quick minute and first of all those who sent me a happy birthday over the last day or two a week, I really appreciate that. And it's always fun hitting new milestones in life. And I've come up on one, and thought I'd share a little bit about wisdom and experience because I think it's two things that are severely undervalued um, by younger generations, by foolish minds, by know it alls, the arrogant. We all know somebody that when you try to share some information with them, you hear this, I know, I know, I know. And when I find people doing that, what I'm finding is they're not trying to hear what you're saying. I remember growing up as that I just didn't want to hear anything an adult said. To me, an adult was out of step. They weren't in with the times. I judge them by their clothes, their hairdo, and what we were wearing at the time. And I would just say they're out of step. And so a lot of people, not everyone, they determine if they're going to take advice from someone based on the way they look. You look like you can help me. You don't look like you can help me. But I want to tell you something about wisdom and experience. That even the person who is the most down and out person on the street, digging out the garbage can, they got some experience. Every single person, 8 billion people living on the planet, has a backstory. Now, depending on what a person's backstory is, yeah, that'll depend on what kind of wisdom that they can give you. But I've learned that you have to, first of all, gain experience. And how do you gain experience? Well, you gain experience by working, by, if you're a student, by learning. Uh, you could be an intern. You could take gigs. We're part of a gig economy. So sometimes you learn by doing, other times you learn by listening. That's how you get experience. And it comes from one or two ways. It is either taught, classroom format, you got it on YouTube, TED Talk, or it is caught, which means you've gotten it over the course of living life. Most of the experiences that I have, what I call is the reason why that they are assets is they become cumulative, right? Cumulative is, right? Just adds up, cumulative effect. And so when you learn how to work, let's say your first job, my first job was working in a restaurant. I started as a dishwasher. Okay. And then I accumulated that experience. And then I got to be a prep cook. And then I got to be a line cook. And then I worked right alongside the chef. But all of that experience had to become cumulative. In real estate, I started as a leasing agent. And then I went from a leasing agent to an assistant manager, and then from assistant manager to property manager. And then I made the leap into real estate. I had to start back over as a broker, manager, right, leader, and so forth and so on. So there is, if you can tell, there's a process to the experience. The challenge is that if I'm watching somebody on social media and I'm seeing them with all the cars and the houses and the watches and the lifestyle, I have no idea what their experience is, right? And so what you see a lot is people are sharing you experiences that they really haven't really gotten, right? They borrowed it. In other words, the guy who's sitting in front of a $2 million house and a Lambo telling you about 10 ways to become rich, he's renting a house and he's leasing the Lambo. So it's kind of fake experience. So what you want to be careful of is make sure that as I said, number one, understand a person's backstory. Don't dismiss them because of the way that they look. Okay. It's just an easy way to miss an opportunity. I tell agents all the time is sometimes you look over the little things trying to get to the big things, right? I know people that blow me off because I don't look a certain way. So they don't think that I would know anything about specific things. But then after listening for me 5 or 10 minutes, you can tell they go, wow, oh, this guy really does know. But whatever their initial judgment was made them where they didn't value the wisdom that I have and they don't value the experience. So if you're one of those people out there maybe watching show and you've learned some things, you've got some experience, you've got some wisdom, but people are not taking advantage of that, that's not your fault. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to do what I did, where you start trying to sell yourself. You start trying to press yourself. You start trying to impress other people. I call it you giving your resume everywhere you go. And that has the opposite effect because that can kind of turn people off. But you have to, with wisdom and experience, you operate on the law of attraction. Okay, that's number two. Work with the law of attraction. Number one, the backstory of an individual. Number two, it's the law of attraction. Stop chasing people, places, and things. I know what the culture talks about. I know it talks about being on its grind, being on its hustle, but I'm just telling you that you're going to get a lot further if you don't chase, if you attract. And when you attract people, they want your wisdom, they want your experience, they want the opportunity. But when you're trying to sell yourself to other people, then you're going to miss a lot of people. Never give people an answer to a question that they don't want. Right? That's right. Why cast valuable things before foolish people? Keep your wisdom to those that are going to value it. So that's really the value of wisdom and experience. And I can sum this up in one word: listen. If you become a better listener, then you're going to hear opportunities where people can use your help. If you become a better listener, then you're going to hear opportunities where you can gain some knowledge. One of my friends, Shane Coakley, shout out if you're catching this, he says he ear hustles. I was like, Shane, what's ear hustle? Ear hustle is where you pretend like you're not listening, but you're taking it in. And so when Shane was starting out to be a developer, he would be driving around in his limo and he'd have rich guys that he would pick up and he'd be ear hustling. Okay. Sometimes you got to ear hustle, right? I know a lot of people kind of troll social media and they're ear hustling, trying to see what this person's doing and what that person's doing. So wisdom and experience has the best. Now, let me tell you the saddest part about wisdom and experience. Okay. When people hit their 40s and 50s and 60s, man, you're at the peak of your experience. But here's what happens to a lot of those people. Number one, they don't change and adapt to the current times, right? They're still wearing the same hairdo, the same style that they did in 1980. Okay, that's going to get you written off by a lot of people. Okay, you need to adapt to new music. You might need to get you some Bruno Mars. You might need to get you some Drizzy, right? That's okay. You need to stay relevant. So one of the reasons why people don't listen to people of a certain age is because they don't stay relevant. You don't stay young and youthful. I'm not saying you got to run around and act like you're a teenager, but you need to stay relevant. If somebody starts talking to you about a different type of music or a sport, you need to have some relevance instead of saying, "Oh, that ain't worked out," or "We don't do that." And then you want to turn around and try to give the person some wisdom experience. They're not going to listen. So you got to stay relevant. Okay. And two, you got to keep yourself in shape. What I find is a lot of people, their bodies are breaking down because they haven't taken care of themselves. Their mind is breaking down, their bodies are breaking down, their life is breaking down. Well, you can't pass on wisdom and experience to the next generation if you're breaking down. People are just not going to hear it. Okay. So you got to keep yourself in top shape, right? I spend more money keeping myself. I got the A medical team. I got chiropractors, massage. I got personal trainers. I have, just brain training. I mean, just immune IVs. I got all kinds of stuff that I'm doing on a regular basis so I can stay healthy, so I can stay relevant, so I can keep my energy level up, and I can give out the wisdom and experience. So maybe a person like me, you've reached a certain stage in life, you can do things like this. You can do podcasts, you can write books, you can do blogs, you can do little things to get your wisdom out there. You don't even have to wait for people to come. I know I just said, don't chase, but you can put it out there as an invitation. This show and what I'm doing is just an invitation for people to have the opportunity to participate in, a way to grow. But we need people. I want people that have the wisdom experience on where I'm trying to go, right? I want somebody that's already at a billionaire status. I'm trying to get there. I want somebody that has properties and businesses and income streams is. Okay. But I also need them to have the experience and the wisdom that goes with that so that it lasts, right? You don't want to get to a situation where you got the money, you got the success, but you don't have the wisdom that it takes and the experience that it takes. And wisdom is not just some spiritual term. Being wise, man, there's so many quotes on wisdom and wise. You ought to Google. It's tons of quotes on wise. So don't put it in a context. It's just knowledge. It's just insight. When a person's already been through a certain level in their life, they have insights. And if you're coming up, you need those insights. And so you need to find people that's been down the road you're traveling. Why go in the ditch? Why suffer all the hardships when you can have somebody help you avoid that? Right? Hard-headed people, they're going to do what they do, right? Stubborn people are going to do what they do, and that's fine. But I want people that want to avoid the pain, the mistakes. I didn't have that until I got later in life. My early years, I didn't have models, I didn't have mentors, I didn't have a lot of wisdom, I didn't have a lot of experience. So guess what I did? I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of stupid stuff, a lot of foolish things. I wish I could buy a lot of tapes back, MP3s, CDs, 45s, and 33s. You probably don't even know what those are. But when I got at a certain level, I started to have mentors. My first mentor was a multimillionaire, apartment builder, developer. And so he mentored me and I listened to him, right? I listened to him. I followed. I became a student. I'm still a student, and I went from him to another multimillionaire and then another multimillionaire and then almost a billionaire. So I kept learning and kept growing. So, I still got a long way to go. I want a proof. If you start checking around my life, I want all this stuff to be real. I don't want to just sit here and espouse a bunch of wisdom and knowledge and then, I'm taking the bus to work. Okay. Right. I want it all to be real. So I got a lot to go. I have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. Man, I got a lot of substance I want to get out there as well. So, hey, this is Lewis Howard Live, just checking in with you. Want to share with you and drop some knowledge on you. Hey, you can catch us every week on Blog Talk Radio. We're constantly posting things on YouTube. I've got books on Amazon, and we got a lot of friends that like us, that follow us on podcasts around the world. Last week, we were interviewing my friend Reflection Israel from Japan, Tokyo. Be taking a trip over there. I got friends in Italy, Australia, Canada, of course, UK. They're just all around. So we appreciate all the support. Tell a friend, check us out. We're growing and going. We're coming to a town near you.